If your why is strong, you always figure out how to do it. Every student must read is The Psychology of Money. It helps you understand how this world operates.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whichever part of the world you're watching in. You're tuned into Candid Conversations with Industry Experts, a podcast series started by BRiK Academy, and I'm your moderator, Mihir Pujara. Now, today's podcast is going to be extremely exciting and insightful as we have been joined by MD and CEO of AdametNext, Mr. Virendra Kumar. Now, he would like to call himself Viren, and that's what I'm going to follow throughout the podcast. So, welcome, Viren. So, Viren spends most of his time interacting with pharmaceutical clients, AdametNext employees, and a lot of students as well as aspiring pharma professionals. And that makes Viren a go-to person for those who wants to upgrade their careers into CI or consulting or want to enhance their skill set to stay relevant. So, with that note, let's begin the podcast by asking Viren to reflect upon your corporate journey and then a big leap into entrepreneurship with AdametNext and what lies ahead for you.
First of all, thank you, Mir, and thank you to the audience for having me at this platform. By academic qualification, I'm a pharmacist. I did my graduation from Delhi University. I did my MBA from NIPA Mohali, and since last 15 years, I am in this very niche segment of service where we are providing offshore business support to global pharmaceutical companies. My journey started in 2010 when I started working with Bayer Pharma, which had the offshore research center with eValueServe. Later, I moved to GSK Knowledge Center. It was hosted by WNS Group at that time. And the major shift in my career happened when I joined Novartis. I came to Hyderabad. I joined their respiratory team as a CI lead. And in my last role with Novartis, I was the Global Integrated Insights lead for respiratory portfolio. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was constantly seeking opportunities where I could able to add value. And this is why we pivoted around the competitive intelligence service. And now, fast 5 year forward, uh, we are a team of over 40 people. We are working with global pharmaceutical companies, working across various functions such as competitive intelligence, forecasting, market access solutions, and medical communication. Thank you for having me here and looking forward to this conversation.
No, great, Viren, an absolutely fantastic journey, and I'm very much proud to be able to contribute and being a part of this journey. Now, I would like to slightly switch to the BRiK Academy side of affairs. Right now, as an organization, you are spending a lot of time, a lot of resources and energy on BRiK Academy. Why do you see this as very important, and what's your overall vision behind BRiK Academy?
So one of the critical reason why we started BRiK Academy, this is the relatively a very new industry. The whole concept of offshore business research is hardly 25 years. Somewhere with the evolution of business process outsourcing in late 2000, and then it is translated into knowledge process outsourcing in early 2000. And now in 2025, we have reached to that space where Indian professionals are known for their business expertise, their understanding of the pharmaceutical industry, not only in India, but also outside India, the major markets such as US and Europe. People look up to us. Having said that, this industry is employing over lakhs of people in India, but unfortunately, the understanding and the basic skills and knowledge with that is required at the student level or the uh, early professional stage of the career, what people need, it is not so clear. So, in order to bridge that gap, we started this initiative, BRiK Academy. Uh, I'm the key person from India. We also have business partner Atul Banerjee and Fahim Rashid from They are basically Britishers. Uh, they are in this industry even longer than me, and we came together. We established BRiK, and now with these key initiatives, we are trying to improve and take this knowledge to the early stage professionals and even to students. Along with that, the candid conversation, or through the expert interviews, the idea is to highlight the gravity of the skill gap or the knowledge gap which we have seen uh, at the early stage. So we don't want people to start from scratch as we did. I think now we have ton of information available, thanks to Google, thanks to internet, and thanks to YouTube, and the kind of the digital media. uh, so I think it's a great opportunity for people to take advantage of platform like BRiK and make a significant impact on your professional journey.
So thanks, Viren. Now moving to our next segment. While preparing for our interaction, I was just reflecting upon pharmaceutical asset discovery and development process, and if somehow we can link and compare it with career journeys, we can say that the aspiring students are at a preclinical phase, full of potential but yet to be tested. Then comes phase one professionals who are just making an entry into their corporate journey, where they are exploring the roles and building some of the foundational skills. Then mid stage professional or mid senior professionals come into the picture, right, where they have acquired some experience but now looking for an impact. And then comes the experienced professionals, right? They require life cycle management strategies to sustained impact and continued success. Now, with this analogy in mind, I would like to utilize your experience and expertise to curate some tailored insights for each of this segment. Let's start with the students. Now, you frequently visit a lot of institutes and interact with students. In terms of looking at industry academia gap, what are some of the foundational skills you suggest students to focus upon, and how should they go about it?
First of all, it's a fantastic analogy, I must say. At the early stage and at the student stage, so usually what I deeply value is awareness. So I think the key role of any academic institute is to make their student aware what is possible, what are the possibilities, so that the student can anchor around them. And this is what BRiK Academy is trying to do. That apart from what people are learning in their academic institute, uh, largely the focus was on the R&D side or the marketing side, sales side. But people were never being primed for the consulting and this side of research work, the secondary and primary research, or the analysis which we are doing. So once, if the students are aware what is possible, and now they can pivot around it, and they can figure out what are the skill, behavioral shift, communication, what knowledge exactly they need to excel in this part of career.
Indeed, totally agree with you. Now let's focus on the next segment, right? And I believe that this segment comes from GCCs.
Mhm.
So people who have just started their career and started exploring their roles, and especially in GCCs, because now the GCCs has evolved from what they were a decade ago. Considering that, what's your advice in terms of these professionals should go above and beyond in their roles?
So, global pharmaceutical global capability centers. It was initially started with Novartis when they established their own capability center under their own brand name. Even before that, we had the capability centers, but they were primarily with these, the KPO firms. So BET, ValueServe, WNS, or some other firms. They also try to do that. The major shift which has happened is this was the first time where the big pharma also bring their organizational culture with them. And uh, those who have worked in the big pharma and the local KPOs, they can empathize with me. The big pharma companies, the global working culture when they brought, it was highly appreciated, and it was It was completely different. Uh, and where the Indian way of working is highly competitive, the global way of working is highly collaborative. And I think this is one of the key skill which perhaps, or the behavioral transition which was required by Indian professionals, that how they can become more collaborative, along with having a competitiveness also in the back end, but it should not be the primary behavioral aspect which you want. So you don't want that at every aspect you are becoming super competitive. You are, and that sometime uh, you are trying to use other means to excel in your career. Uh, Now, fast 15-year. Uh, so now we have been 15-year in advance. So earlier the pharmaceutical companies, they were experimenting. Now in 2025 they have acknowledged that we have the field experts in India. They know that these people sitting in India, they are expert in CI, they are expert in forecasting, they are expert in market access. Now they want to leverage this, uh, and in order to establish a successful business model, it has to be transactional, which means that there has to be win-win for both sides. So for these companies which are based out of US and Europe, they are under significant revenue pressure. Uh, they are their key assets, key drugs, they are losing exclusivity in those markets. Their sales are going down. They also have key stakeholders. They also need to maintain their bottom line. And in order to do that, now they are being pushed to reduce the operational cost. So in order, and when they are shifting these operational roles, they are looking toward India, where these insights, analytics, CI, these companies, they are reducing their operational cost roughly around by 40 to 50%, in some cases even up to 70 to 80%. So these capability centers are need of the hour. And the beauty is, now you really need not to establish the need for it. Need is already addressed. Now it's about how, as a professional, you can maximize it and address the skill gap, knowledge gap, how you can prepare yourself to maximize this opportunity.
So now, Viren, let's come to the tricky segment, I would say, that is mid-stage or mid-senior professionals. So this is the stage where stagnation or boredom strikes, and then you started realizing that the path towards top is getting narrower and the competition is heightened. What is your advice at this stage of professionals to address the stagnation and to rediscover that career momentum?
So the one of the good thing, if you are feeling boredom, it's actually good. And why it is good is, boredom highlights that you are comfortable, and now you also have some free time. Okay, and there is a historical perspective. Whenever people become bored, they have innovated. So this is reminding you that now you need to make adjustment. You need to do something exciting in your life. So if you have that realization, you have reached that stage. And uh, and the good thing is, now the way the technology advancement is happening, the new tools which are coming. So be it on the behavioral side, technical side, there are so many things you perhaps can do. Uh, and before this discussion, we were talking about the T profile of people. Okay, so now as a professional, you need to pivot whether you want to become an expert in one particular domain, where that means you are going deep into something. And if you want to move upward in the organization and you want to take a broader responsibility, that means you need on a broader perspective. So for example, if you need to uh, you want to become an entrepreneur, or you want to lead a team, that means you need to learn about HR, you need to learn about finance, you learn about marketing, you also need to learn about sales, you also need to figure out who are your customer, how to convince them. So these all things you might have, as an MBA student, you might learn during the academics, but this is the time where you start implementing it, start working in the direction, and see its impact on your day-to-day life. So the adjustment and pivoting by realizing that you are getting bored, it is extremely important for people.
No, very interesting. And the T profile analogy. So we make this T target product profile for pharmaceutical product, right? So we need to make the
Indeed.
T profile for
For
your own
yourself as
career.
well.
Yes,
Yes, indeed.
indeed.
Mm.
So now let's move to the very interesting segment, I would say, which is experienced professional, which requires a life cycle management strategies that I spoke earlier. So in this segment, right, I was also part of this segment and got beautiful advice from you a couple of times. So this is a stage, right, where your mind start debating to about job stability and also leaving the comfort zone. And you might be encountering a lot of such professionals who are seeking opportunities at AdametNext or any startup. What's your advice for these professionals to adopt that mindset shift to get the maximum out of their careers at this stage?
No, I think it's a very important question. I'm glad you highlighted it. The important thing is when you call yourself experienced or skilled, uh, so-called this experience and skill should empower you to do more, empower you to feel more capable of doing something. It should not drag you back. So if you are not getting that confidence from this experience, then perhaps it is you have not acquired the required skills. People always ask me that what is the right time to try something new. Okay, for example, you are trying a long jump, right? So what is the right time? The right time of trying something new is when you fall and there is a higher probability of recovery. You don't want to try a long jump or high jump in the age of 60, where you know that if you break your bone, perhaps you might not able to fix it. Okay, so now you have spent 10-15 years, you have certain understanding, and perhaps this is the time where you also want to experiment or try new things, because your growth, your potential, it is something you first need to acknowledge, then the world acknowledge. Okay, so if you show trust in yourself, then the people will follow or give you that opportunity. And fortunately, unfortunately, in India we have so many people, so many good professionals. Unfortunately, we don't have enough opportunities, so you have to create those opportunities for yourself. So now you have the right academic background. You now have also worked with somebody. So basically, it's nothing but you learn, but at somebody else's cost. And now it's the time that are you ready to give your skills? Are you ready to use your skills for yourself? And the question comes, are you confident? It's a little tricky,
True, true.
but until unless you put trust in yourself, the world will not put trust in you.
Indeed. So fail early and fail fast.
Fail early, fail fast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, totally agree and totally echo what you have said. Now, if I just dig bit deeper, especially in this segment, because you sometimes when you make career moves, you are seeking external validation while you are also introspecting, right, your own strength and your own capabilities. So, as a leader, or maybe as somebody who wants to join a startup or wants to start on the entrepreneurial journey, or maybe an entrepreneurial journey, right? What are some of the behavioral traits that you always suggest or advise people should inculcate?
I think from a entrepreneurial journey point of view, and entrepreneurial is we use the word start with E, and this is where you are primarily starting something completely new. And there is also a word called I, which is intrapreneurial, which is when you work like an entrepreneur but in somebody else's organization. So in the first case, you are making a bigger bet because this is where you don't have a organizational backing. Having said that, or who should become an entrepreneur, I think there has to be a bigger purpose in the back. Okay, what is actually driving? Uh, in my case, uh, to become an entrepreneur, a lot of credit actually goes to my mother and my brother. Uh, my father, he came, from a bureaucratic background. He gave whole his life to central government job. But my mother, she never went to school, but she came from a business background. My uncles, they were, into multiple businesses. They had the shop, and uh, so she was, a visionary in that way. So she made my brother try some business venture, which he failed initially, and but I was watching, what is happening, and the expectation from me was also, to look into some business venture. I did my MBA. We started Pharma Tree, failed miserably. So basically, the concept of Pharma Tree was we wanted to train the fresh B Farm, M Farm students, and helping them find build their career. And you can understand that I just came out of MBA, and when I have not learned something, and I was trying to teach people that how to make career out of something, we failed miserably. Then I did work on a lot of business plans, so those paper business plans, and then there is a flip flop between job, business plan, and thanks to Novartis, it has given a lot of time where I was able to work on multiple things, multiple business plan I tried, business concept I tried, and a lot of those business plan, they were not even to take a lift from the paper. Why I give a lot of credit to my brother, because he became the a first entrepreneur in our family. So he started. So we have a bike business. The one favor he did for me, he's not a bookish guy. He's not that very academically inclined. So in the University of Hyderabad, there was an entrepreneurship course, and so he paid the fee. It was his registration, but I did all those classes. So that 2 3 month of entrepreneurship course, I did that, and it was really good. Being surrounded by those 25 30 entrepreneurs. They were all struggling with money. They were all struggling with business idea. They were all struggling with people expectation around them. And at that time, I was just learning. So that the learning I had during that time, it helped me in finding my pivot, what I want to do, and also helped me in coming out of a very comfortable ecosystem of Novartis. It is extremely difficult, even till date. It is extremely difficult for people to come out, from these big companies, because they made your life so comfortable. It is literally, it was very comfortable, and I glad I was able to came out of it.
No, you came out of it and you did wonderful job at what you started, right? Being a small company to now scaling up to almost 45 people and more. So now I think we have come to a very interesting inflection point. So Viren, I have planned a rapid fire round with you, quick questions and quick answers. I don't have a KBC screen like Amitabh Bachchan, but I am going to use a prop. So, guys, we are starting with the final segment of our podcast, which is rapid fire round. So, I prepared some light-hearted questions for Viren to unleash some more insights from him, and it's gonna be quick questions, quick answers. So, are you ready?
Yeah, game for it.
So now, one thing that I like most about you, right? So despite being busy, you're always reading books and you are always listening to podcasts. So can you describe some books and podcasts that has influenced you the most?
The key one is definitely Start with Why by Simon Sinek. If your why is strong, you always figure out how to do it. Uh, another book which I recommend people is Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a wonderful book. It helps you understand how your brain operates. So that's a wonderful book. Perhaps every student must read is The Psychology of Money. It helps you understand how this world operates and how the money operates. So there is a ton of book I can recommend, but these are the the initial one. Perhaps people should at least not read, but you can also look at the book summaries. You can easily find on YouTube.
Sure. And some of the podcast as well. I think Coaching for Leaders is one of what I've
Yes,
seen.
definitely. So, coaching for leaders, and there is also by Shankar Vedantu. It's Hidden Brain. It's an amazing, beautiful podcast that can help you in your professional life.
Indeed. Okay. Moving to our second question, if you can describe AdametNext in one sentence.
Agile solution, bold insight.
Okay. And similarly, one sentence for BRiK Academy.
Uh, BRiK Academy is no limit to knowledge, perhaps. It's now you put me on spot. But yeah, the concept of BRiK, the way we kept it is, while there are so much uncertainty, there are so many new things are coming. So anything which is falling or relevant, we want to cover in BRiK Academy. So that's why I think I relate BRiK with knowledge and knowledge of everything, which is this uncertain, fast changing business ecosystem.
Now, I have heard you saying many times, I would like to know from you how the trust system works, be it a startup or be it a corporate venture.
The trust building process is also explained in various books, so I forgot from where I took it. But it is whenever somebody is recommending you something in personal life or in professional life, uh, it is extremely important. First thing is who is recommending, the personal credibility of the person. Do you have the right background? Do you have the right education? Do you have the right experience? Why should I listen to you? The second thing is, whatever you are recommending me, can you describe it in a methodology, in a process that you first need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. This is your outcome. And once you have the personal credibility, you have the process methodology. The third thing is, have you done it in the past? If you have the initial two things, if you have not done it in the past, that means it is not proven. So if you have the evidence, you have done it in the past, this is where now you are good enough to recommend it to somebody along with the right sort of example. So if whomsoever in your personal or professional life, somebody is coming and telling you, trust me, check these three things. If you have the three ticks, that's your guy. If he or she doesn't have it, think twice.
I think we used to wear PPE kits in COVID time, so people process and evidence becomes a very relevant framework.
Indeed.
What's the one mindset shift that has helped you overcome challenges in your career?
A growth mindset. So I read about fixed mindset and growth mindset when I was in Novartis. Uh, so in the growth mindset, all these aspects, dealing with uncertainties, staying relevant, these are extremely important. And especially in our generation, when you see that you learn something, it is outdated. The technologies are changing almost, sometime even on a monthly basis. You were learning about Chat GPT. Now you have DeepSeek, and we don't know what we're gonna see. So having that growth mindset, having that agile mindset, I think the critical thing. And then similarly, because we students are also watching this. If you are thinking that whatever you are learning in school and colleges, that education is gonna be enough, the answer is big no. So as I said earlier, being aware of what is happening, but at the same time be open that things are changing fast, and whatever academic knowledge you took, it is just a foundation. What are working in industry, in companies, that is something you will be moving forward, you are learning. And if you can expose yourself to these new skills, new technology ahead of time, this might act like your competitive advantage.
Totally agree. One foundation skill you believe everyone, be it a student or a corporate professional or an entrepreneur, should have in their careers?
One is definitely being relevant. So in any situation, ask this question: am I relevant? And the moment you ask this question, you will figure out where you stand.
Indeed, but extremely tough.
Indeed. It's simple, not easy.
True. Now this is something on a lighter end. If you get a chance to switch your career for a day, what would you try?
I am very inspired by motivational leaders. These are the people I mimic in my day-to-day life. Be it Jim Rohns, be it Shankar Vedantu, or be it Dave Stoviak from Coaching from Leaders, and there are the other podcasts I listen. Uh, I admire them for the positive impact these people are creating on society. At the same time, as a person, I'm very inspired. So I also find their life, their impact very meaningful. So perhaps that would be me if I'm not doing what I'm doing today.
And you become the average of 5 people that you listen to, so you are becoming one.
I'm trying that definitely.
Okay. One myth about entrepreneurship that you would like to bust today in this podcast.
There is a lot of glamour attached to entrepreneurship. Perhaps it's a big myth. That is something also attracted me towards becoming an entrepreneur. But the moment you build a team, you are responsible for 40, 45, not people, families. So when you start feeling that burden on your shoulder, that is something you realize that entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial journey is not as it look on screen. It is much more job of responsibility. uh, and if you are in general, if you are not a very responsible person, you can still burn your hands, you can learn, but either you will transform into this person who is the personality required to be an entrepreneur. Otherwise you will have a wonderful experience. You must try at least once.
Yeah, I have heard an actor saying that the sleepless nights are sometimes invisible by the makeup.
I agree.
Yeah. If you had to sum up leadership in few lines, few sentences, what would it be? How do you see what leadership is?
uh, Being a leader, so one is definitely you need to improve your appetite of trusting others. That's one thing. Another thing is, now you are not supposed to just do, you are supposed to inspire others and also showing them the path how it can be done. So it's always easy to do things, but it's always difficult to inspire others to get things done. In the business, we also use the word, are you working in your business or on your business? So when you are working on your business, you are actually building the team and structure and the frames, and people also play a very significant role in it. It's not easy. You should ask this question to yourself: why should people follow me? What significant changes I'm making in their life?
So only the parampara, pratishtha, anushashan is not leadership.
It's not gonna work.
Okay. When faced with failure, and you have already highlighted that you faced multiple failures before success arrived, what usually you tell yourself to bounce back and keep going?
Failure, always people face. You need to understand the reason of failure. uh, and majority of time, that failure has happened because of lack of discipline, lack of persistent effort, sometime also because of skills. uh, but these all things are manageable things. Okay, as an individual, if you can and if you are willing to address these things, then perhaps it's become relatively easier to bounce back. But if the failure is happening because of something very fundamental, sometimes it's related to value. Okay, so what are the things you value in your life the most? If it is happening because of that, then perhaps this is the time that you need to move on. I think it is also extremely important that we talk about resilience. People should be resilient, but at the same time it is extremely important to know when to move on. If the door
Very
is
true.
not opening, don't keep knocking. Okay, that's not your life. Just move on, pivot somewhere else.
Indeed. So, guys, if something is not working out, move on and try something else faster.
Indeed.
If you mentor yourself, 25 years old, self for one day, what would you teach your younger self?
Certainly English. In my early stage, and then by it's English is just language, right? So the importance of communication. So until and unless two people can communicate with each other freely uh, in a right way. So when we talk about language, it's not only about the words; it's also about the use of right word in a right time in a right environment. So that's something. The power of communication. It is it is so important. Uh, I learned it, very late. Perhaps when I joined Novartis and when I started interacting with this global audience, this is where I realized the power of communication, and I have invested so much time in that. So, if anybody is listening, please do focus on communication. It is extremely important, and it can be learned. Okay, if
Yeah.
I'm sitting here in front of you speaking, and if you think I'm speaking flawlessly, it is all learned. It is not gifted. It is all everything learned in a very hard way, but it can be done. If I can do it, you can also do it.
No, thanks, Virendra, for motivating. If you had unlimited resources, what's one problem in world you'll solve?
If I have unlimited resource, I will try to do something which empowers people. So you cannot solve people problem. People solve their own problem. And in order to do that, you need to empower them. So figure out what they need. Uh, Unfortunately, it's easy to follow others versus finding your own path. So try to teach people. Perhaps entrepreneurship is a good thing, where the important thing about entrepreneurship is figuring out those areas, those unmet needs which nobody is addressing. And there are always, if there are people, there are always areas where people need support, people need other people to do things for them. You identify those, solve, and then you'll see that people are solving their own problem.
Sure.
So perhaps that's where I would like to invest the resources.
Power comes from empowerment.
Power comes from power, absolutely.
What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
I'm a music buff, and those around me, they know that I'm very good with lyrics. So and I'm more a '90s kid. I'm a big fan of Sonu Nigam, and if you go back, I'm a big fan of Kishore Kumar and Mohammad Rafi. So that music, those lyrics, those lyrics are still touch your heart. So music is definitely one thing that helps me unwind.
Truly. And one thing I would like to steal from you is your playlist.
Anytime.
How do you define success beyond professional achievements?
Success is very subjective. Okay. Uh, for a very significant part of my life, we were attaching success with money. Unfortunately, it's not. Success is, I read somewhere and I also agree with it. Success is actually people. So if you have the right sort of people around you who are, when you met them, you feel happy, you feel empowered, you feel connected, and these people play a very significant role in your life. So if you have those people who bring that calmness, peace in your life, who look up to you, and you also feel pride, I think that's what success. It is. It is. I don't think money is the right parameter. Money or the other materialistic things, they are not the right parameter for success. I firmly believe in that now.
Indeed. So, guys, stop focusing on just paycheck. Look at people around you.
Indeed. I mean, now I'm saying that you definitely need money for your basic necessities. Once the basic necessities are met, then you see that then perhaps your realization, and you are start asking those questions: what is success? What is meaningfulness? What is purposefulness? But this will only happen until before you have to manage your basic necessities. The roti kapda makan. You need to manage that. That's extremely important. I'll not give any overgyan on
True, indeed.
that.
One personal habit that help you to stay grounded.
I still have a lot of relatives, lots of friends. Uh, so that's one thing. Always keeping my past in mind, from where we have started, from where we have reached. I think without being humble, without being grateful for what role people have played in the life, and how we are giving it back. I think that's the most important thing, which I believe is working for me by far.
Truly agree. Now, last but not the least, what's your take on ongoing debate in India, which is quite heated one, around working hours and work-life balance?
The question is wrong. The right question is what you value the most. So if you are somebody who value the most, spending time with your family, spending time with your loved ones, this is where you find the most uh, peace, or the again, success, as you say. If you are that person, perhaps you need to focus on that and accordingly choose the career. Okay. But if you are somebody who has come from a very humble background, and you have put a very ambitious goal for yourself, then you have to put your effort in that direction. Then you can't say that I will work 9 to 5 or 10 to 7. Those 8 hours will not be enough. I remember, I'm grateful that after 5 years, my life is a little bit more sorted. I have able to bring some discipline in my life. But there was a time when, we have also worked 15, 16, 20 hours a day. Uh, I remember, in our work, we do medical conferences. So I remember that the conference used to start 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are in the and the medical conference centers are size of football field. So you are running from one area to another area, and then also towards the end of the day you are having those client debrief meeting, and then you are entering your hotel room somewhere around midnight, somewhere 11:30, 12, and then you have to again start at 7 or 8. So it is uh, in Hindi, we use the word कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. It's always a trade-off. You need to figure out what you are ready to trade off. That trade-off may come in the form of people, in the form of habit, or something else. But there will always be a trade-off which you have to make for whatever you want to achieve in your life. So just figure it out what you want.
Yeah, find your own trade-off. So that's a great note, right, to end the rapid fire round, and you have passed it with flying colors. I don't have a
Thanks,
1 crore
Mir.
check, but I'll give. Okay,
We'll
so,
make it together.
so thank you so much, Viren, for a valuable time, and I am very sure that whosoever is listening would have got some valuable insights and some tips to implement. We are watching BRiK Academy, so I urge all of you, if you want to stay updated with our past webinars and upcoming candid conversations, please follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Both the channels, we keep on updating fresh content. So again, thanks very much, and all of you, please take care and keep watching us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It's been pleasure, being here, and thanks to the audience and the whole Indian pharma and the global pharma community for encouraging us to, create more such content. Thanks, Meir, for driving this.